Hey students, I just realized I made a mistake in a previous video and I'm not re-recording the video. So there was a video like 2 assignments ago that I said it was a math football a homework. It was not math football. It was what's in a name, and that was one we did before we got to the math football. So it was before the freeze, not after the freeze. So pardon me on that one. I did name it correctly. I did name the video correctly, but in the video, you're going to hear me call it the wrong assignment name. This one is the second math football homework assignment that y'all had. Now, this one does not have a Schoology equivalent. What that means is this assignment was meant to be done online and emailed to me if you lost your physical copy, which means you threw away the packet or you lost the packet or you simply just don't know where the packet is anymore and you don't have a physical copy. You had to do it online and then you had to turn it in to me through email because I wanted a physical copy of this. Because I did not want you turning it in Schoology, because if you turn it in there, everyone will see your answer. And if that's the case, you're going to get a 0 while everyone else is good, because that's not where it needs to be. Now, the reason I added some things to this page, because this page is available in Schoology, because I did upload the PDF for you to modify and send to me on your own, is because if you lost a packet, that means you didn't read it or you don't remember what was in it, and you needed to read that packet because you needed to know what to do for this assignment. And I didn't have you do everything in that packet, but I did tell you to read it when I gave it to you, and I would tell you what homework was going to come out of it later. Now, one of the things that this homework assignment focused on, it was like towards the back of the packet, like right before you got to the assignment page. It showed you a football field or an example of a football field. This is kind of like an example of a football field. So this is not a real football field. It's just a sideways number line. So you have black going this way, red going this way. Well, what does that mean? Well, if black is going this way, if you look at the numbers that are in this direction, then that means they are positive. If you look at red and it says it's going this way, well, look at all the numbers that are going this way. That means red is related to negative. Then you have the home football and the visitor football. Once again, this was an activity where you could cut these out and then kind of move your football along this number line, kind of like a previous assignment we did. Well, a video that I just did where I was counting along the number line with my arrow there. You could be counting with the football if you had the physical copy to cut this out with. So that is where black equals positive, red equals negative comes from, is because of that. Now, I will be doing examples of these because there are multiple of them, but I will literally only be doing one because there are not a lot of other problems you're going to have to do on your own after I do them. Now, once again, I am not going to read the directions. You need to read the directions. The only thing I will say, the game board is what I was showing you earlier. You actually don't need this game board, but if you see this game board, it's numbered from 10 to 10, so from negative 10 to 10. So you can draw your own number line and work with that instead. Or use the number line you drew for a previous assignment and use that one to do the same, to do a similar, it's not the same, it's a similar assignment. Now, if you have, what is it? Kami, this will be easy to modify in Kami. If you know how to do a PDF editor, that will also help you edit this, and then just make sure you put your stuff in the right spot. So I will be doing A, and then of course you will be doing the rest. This goes from A to D. This is why I'm only doing 1, because after the 1, you have 3 to do on your own. So once again, I'm not reading this, but you do need to read because I already know what to do because I've already read it. So we need to find the ending position. Now, to find the ending position, something had to change from where we started. In the case of this particular problem, we started at 0, and then we got a red 6. Red 6 means we got a negative 6. So I'm going to add negative 6. So remember, I add parentheses around that to separate the two things. This is an operation. This is a sign for a number. So we have 0 plus negative 6, and then black 2. Black is positive. So black 2 plus 2. Now, you can do this on a number line if you want to count it, or you can use the adding rules. Once again, you can just draw your own number line from negative 10 to 10. For this particular one, I'm going to use the adding rules so we can see how that works. Now, the adding rules, there are 2 adding rules. You have same sign, add and keep the sign. And then you have different signs, subtract and keep the bigger sign. So in the case of this one, we have 0 plus negative 6. 0 is neither negative or positive. So this automatically becomes negative 6 because anything plus 0 equals itself. So I'm at negative 6. Then we have negative 6 plus 2. Negative 6 plus 2, negative and positive is different signs. So I'm going to subtract these 2 numbers. Don't you just hate it when you do that? I'm going to subtract these 2 numbers. That gives me a 4. Now, looking at my 2 numbers, 6 here and 2 here, 6 is a bigger number, but 6 is also negative. So that gives me negative. So this is negative 4. Now, some of them are negative. I do believe one of these answers is positive, or it could all be negative. I really don't remember. It's been a moment since I went over this whole assignment. Now, A through D is on your own. I will be moving to E. E only has 4 problems, which means I'm only going to be doing 1. So I hope you get an understanding with 1 example because I can't do the rest. Now, this one I would suggest if you don't understand, please get a friend that came to tutorials to help you, or get someone that understands how negative and positive numbers work. But this is a reason I was doing a video, because most people would get this top part right and then totally bomb this part, and it's literally worth 4 points because it's 2 each. So let's talk about it. Now, if you didn't read the packet like I asked you to, that means you never saw this game board. So when it started asking you about end zones, you wouldn't know what it meant. So that's why I added more modifications to this assignment with the PDF. So the end zones equal 10. So if you look at the game board, or you have the game board, if you look at the end zones where it says home and visitor, the number that is at that point is 10 for the home and negative 10 for the visitor. Okay? Now, what we're supposed to do is we're going to have a starting position. We're going to roll 2 number cubes. Now, if it's a cube, how many faces does it have? 6. It has 6 faces. This is literally telling you you're rolling 2 dice. Well, you're rolling dice. I can't say 2 dice because dice is plural. You're rolling dice, okay? You're rolling dice. So that means any numbers I use here cannot be greater than 6, because a number cube only has 6 sides and the numbers go from 1 to 6. I've literally had a student use 18. How did you get 18 on a number cube? Now, there are dice out there that go all the way up to, I know 20, because I know Dungeons and Dragons uses it's not even a cube. I don't even know what the name of that type of die is, but it goes from 1 to 20. This is not that. This is regular number cubes. You only have 1 to 6 to work with, and that is all. Now, because I'm doing the home zone one, remember the visitor zone is negative 10. So you're going to have to change a little bit of what I'm doing to get the same to get something similar for the visiting end zone. So I need an equation that when solved from my starting position is going to get me either 10 or higher. 10 or higher. So this could be 10, it could be 11, it can even be 13. It just has to be 10 or higher. So let me think about my number cubes. The red one is negative, and I'm starting at a positive number. So any red number I add is going to decrease my number in value. And I can't do 0 because 0 is not an option. The number cube is 1 to 6. The black cube is positive. So any of this, since I'm starting off at a positive, will increase my number to where I need it to be. So if that's the case, if I roll a red cube, I would prefer it be a 1. That way I only lose move down one time. And I ain't got to go that far. So going from +8, if I have to go down once, you don't have to put -1. Just put 1. Because if it's the red cube, it's supposed to be negative. So you'll be doing that over here. So I was at +8. I wrote a 1 on my red cube. That means I had to move down 1. Well, that means I'm at 7. Now for my black cube, what does this have to be? And if you're doing the visitors, I would suggest you work in reverse. Because the visitors, you start at a negative position. So that means any positive number you use will send you in the wrong direction because the goal is to get to -10. So right now I'm at +7 after I take away the 1, and I need to get to 10. Well, if that's the case, then I hope on my black cube I roll a 3 or higher so that I can get what I need. So the equation is 8, where we started, plus, you know what? I'm going to type this up because that's taking a lot out of me. 8 plus -1 plus 3 equals 10. Now, if I use different numbers, I would get different answers. But in the case of the numbers I used, the starting position was given to me. I couldn't do anything about it. But I said I would like to get a 1 on my red cube so I don't have to move away that far. So, like I said, 8 plus -1. Do the adding rules. It's different signs. Subtract them. That gives me 7. 8 is bigger. So after I get my 7, I do +3, which gives me 10, which is exactly what I'm looking for. So if I get this combination of dice, I will be able to get to my end zone and make a point. I don't remember how the game works because it's been a while since I read the packet, but you would get so many points for making it to your end zone. Now, for the next one, you cannot use the same numbers. So you have to use a different combination of 1 to 6 for both of these to get either 10 or higher. But remember, for the visitors, you're looking for a -10 or lower because the numbers need to be negative. Now, that is the first part of this assignment and homework. There is a second part. So the second part of the homework is this side, because this was literally a front and, was it front and back? No, it was not front and back. It was 2 different pages, and you would have had to turn both of the pages in. Now for this one, read the directions. If you need help with this one, I would suggest you read the previous page because you need to know what the black cube represents and the red cube represents. Now, once you know that, remember, this is an adding activity. So you are adding these numbers together. And since these are cubes, the highest you're going to go is 6. So the highest number on both cubes is 6 and 6. So pretend you're rolling 2 cubes. One's black, one is red. The black is positive, the red is negative, and then answer these questions accordingly. You have quite a few questions to answer, and once again, this is really self-explanatory if you just read what it's asking you to do. Now, if you need further help on this, I would suggest asking one of your classmates because the more details I give you, I'm really just telling you the answers at that point. So I really need you to think about this. You are adding, you have positives and negatives, and the only numbers you need to think about is 1 to 6. So I hope this was helpful. Once again, I would say ask one of your classmates if you are struggling with this particular assignment. If you refuse to ask a classmate and you need help from me, I will decide on a way to help you better, but I refuse to give out answers. So I will see you later.